Coming up on Arirang News, the monsoon rain is causing floods in South Korea. Some major highways are closed and thousands of people have had to leave their homes. A sign the worst could be over on the trade front. South Korea posts another current account surplus for June. But because of the pandemic, the surplus for 2020 so far is the smallest in 8 years. And Samsung Electronics unveils 5 new devices in its Galaxy series, the Galaxy Note 20 and a new version of the Z Fold, to go on sale in a little over 2 weeks. It's 5 p.m. here in Seoul. Thank you for tuning in to Arirang News. I'm Devin Whiting. Last night saw another round of heavy downpours in Seoul and the area north of it, in particular near the DMZ. The Imjin River, which flows through that area, has risen to a record high level, forcing thousands of residents in the city of Paju and in Yeoncheon County to leave their homes. Our Lee Kyung-eun is at the Imjin River now. Kyung-eun, how's it looking there?
Devin, we're not seeing any rain at the moment, but if you look at the water level behind me, you can see the severity of the situation from last night. Non-stop torrential rain that pounded the region. The Arirang Bridge, where I'm standing right now, serves as a barometer of the amount of flooding in the area. And due to heavy rain, the water level here increased drastically, hitting a record high of 13.5 meters at one point. As a result, Gangwon-do Province issued an evacuation order to residents in low-lying areas, and some 3,000 had to move to temporary shelters. Now, these people have started returning home, but concerns remain as many of these people make a living through farming, and a lot of their properties have been destroyed.
So, Gangwon, the river has risen to an extremely high level, but it's not just from the rain that's been falling in that area.
Yes, Devin. Of course, the area has received a lot of precipitation, and Gunnam Dam, which controls the level of the river, has been discharging tons of backed up water. It opened all these 13 floodgates for the first time in 2 years, as the water level was near 40 meters, meaning it was almost completely full. But besides the rain itself, the flooding is also due to an enormous amount of water released from North Korea. The North Hwanggang Dam released tons of water without giving prior notice to South Korea. In response to that, Governor of Gangwon-do Province Lee Jae-myung and Unification Minister Lee In-young expressed regret in the morning. And they also called for cooperation in this time of natural disaster for the safety of the people in the border village. Back to you, Devin.
All right, Lee Kyung-eun reporting there. Thank you and be safe. Now, the rain has badly disrupted traffic in Seoul. We'll go now to the banks of the Han River, where our Jang Tae-hyun is standing by at the Jamsu Bridge. That's a low-lying bridge often used to gauge the level of rain in the capital. Tae-hyun, how's it looking there?
Devin, the Jamsu Bridge, I cannot see it anymore because it's already under the water. The water level right now is over 11 meters high. As of 11 a.m., a flood warning was issued for the area around the Han River Bridge in Seoul for the first time in 9 years. Residents in 11 Seoul districts near the Han River, like Yongsan-gu, Seongdong-gu, Gwangjin-gu, and Mapo-gu, will have to be alert for any possible flooding. The Han River is so high at the moment because the Paltang Dam upstream has released an enormous amount of backed-up water. The Jamsu Bridge has been closed for 5 days now and is expected to remain closed because another dam, the Soyang Dam, also released water on Wednesday afternoon. It's been 3 years since this dam last opened its floodgates. Soyang Dam is located further upstream on the Bukhan River, and it's one of the largest dams in Korea, so this could greatly affect the water level.
Well, Tae-hyun, with the water so high, how's the traffic situation in Seoul?
So about the traffic situation, many major roads are closed due to the heavy rain. The Gangbyeon, Olympic, and Dongbu expressways are closed. Parts of Seoul's inner ring road from Seongsu Junction to Majang Ramp are also closed. Early this morning, a flood warning was issued at Daegok Bridge on the Tancheon stream. So people living near Gangnam-gu and Songpa-gu districts in Seoul should stay alert. I'll be back with more details. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Jang Tae-hyun there. Now, in Gangwon-do Province, 3 boats capsized this morning, leaving at least 1 person dead and 5 others missing. 2 people have been rescued. At around 11:30 a.m. today near Uyam Dam, a police boat started to sink after being caught on a wire. People reported to be maintenance workers from the dam, and another man went to the rescue on board 2 boats, but all 3 boats ended up sinking. One person was saved as the boats went down, and another was rescued later, but one person's body was found 20 kilometers downriver. It's believed that they were swept away so fast because the nearby dam had been releasing water. In other news, South Korea confirmed 43 new cases of COVID-19 on Thursday, with local infections rising to 20 for the first time in 12 days. Of the new cases, 23 were transmitted locally and 20 were imported. 13 were reported in Gangwon-do Province and 9 in Seoul. Locally, the infections were linked to churches, cafes, restaurants, and offices. The total number of cases now stands at 14,499. There were no additional deaths, leaving the death toll at 302. South Korea has announced its plan to supply North Korea with food for women and children through the World Food Program. The Unification Ministry in Seoul said Thursday that the government is going to contribute $10 million. The money will be used to provide some 9,000 tons of fortified food to children under 7 years old and to women who are pregnant. The recipients are in 60 different North Korean counties. The money will also be used to provide over 3,000 tons of corn, beans, and cooking oil to North Koreans working on infrastructure projects in rural areas. This is the first aid approved since Unification Minister Lee In-young took office last month. Data show South Korea did manage to post a current account surplus for the first half of the year, but it was the smallest in 8 years, mainly due to a fall in exports of goods. According to the Bank of Korea, the surplus came to slightly over $19 billion, down roughly 15.3% from the same period last year. Exports on year fell 13.1% to $242 billion. Time now for an in-depth look at the market news this afternoon, and for that I'm joined on the line by Dr. Kim Se-won, Professor of Economics at Ewha Women's University. Professor Kim, thank you for coming on today.
Good afternoon, Devin.
So as we just heard, Korea's current account surplus was positive there for the second month in a row in June. The surplus, though, for the first half of the year is the smallest since 2012. Tell us a bit more about those figures and what you make of them.
The first half of this year, Korea trade surplus, which is the gap between export and import, shrank down to the lowest level in 8 years. As we know, it is mostly due to coronavirus pandemic shock to global trading. Particularly, export decreased by about 13% in the first half compared to that of last year's, as major export items like automobiles and petrochemical exports were hit hard by pandemic. But since service deficit is improving quickly as Korean citizens less travel foreign countries, and export to China is also recovering fast, Korea economy will maintain positive trade surplus by the end of the year.
Well, you mentioned cars, and Korean car makers are still going through a rough time because of this decline in exports. Combined last month, their sales domestically and overseas were down 9.2%. What's your outlook on the auto industry?
There's no question that the hardest hit industries by pandemic is automobile and related industries like auto parts. According to Government Statistics Office, automobile production decreased by 20% in the first half of this year. But good news is that Hyundai Motor sale in the U.S., which is the largest market for Hyundai Motor, increased in July for the first time in 9 months despite pandemic. And also, Hyundai Motor's sister company, Kia sales, were only slightly down by 1.7%. Actually, all these figures are great improvements compared to two-digit plunges in previous months. As U.S. and European market reopen, auto export will be slowly recovered by the end of year.
Well, now turning to stocks for a minute, Wall Street closed higher yet again on Wednesday. The Nasdaq surging to another all-time high, third one in a row. What's the story in the global markets?
Dow Jones Industrial increased by impressive 1.4% on Wednesday due to U.S. Congress and government's further discussions on additional fiscal stimulus. This positive impact spreads to European markets over London, Frankfurt, and Paris markets, and all markets gained between 0.5% to 1.1% on daily basis. But Asian markets all decreased today as further concerns on deepening recession dominates the market.
Right. Asian markets, with the exception of Korea, because stocks surged ahead here too. The Kospi closed yesterday almost a two-year high, and then today added another 1.3%. Tell us about the local markets.
Yes, as you said, Evan, Kospi today increased up to 2,300 level with 1.5% gain in a day. It is the highest level in 2.5 years, and the market expects there still is momentum for further boom of the market. But at the same time, there is growing concerns that stock market shows signs of overheating because real sector is still suffering from serious low performances these days. And at the same time, Kosdaq also gained 0.8% today.
Well, we're seeing a dramatic decline in the dollar index as the coronavirus continues to spread in the U.S. and the Fed keeps up its stimulus. The Korean won, therefore, has come down quite a bit against the dollar in the past few weeks. What do you see happening with the exchange rate?
Yes, this is very unusual situation because even with a limited supply of the U.S. dollars by U.S. Fed, the relative value of U.S. dollar is not decreasing yet. That is related to many factors, but main factors are there still is a strong demand for dollar for hedging against the future uncertainties in global money market. And also, Korean citizens active foreign investment and decreased export made Korean won weaker against U.S. dollars. So I expect that $1 exchange rate is expected to be moving around current 1,181 per dollar level without the sharp downturn.
Got it. All right, Professor Kim, we'll have to leave it there for today. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Now, Samsung Electronics has unveiled a set of 5 new phones and devices in its Galaxy lineup. They were revealed online on Wednesday and include the Note 20 series, Galaxy Z Fold 2, and the Galaxy Watch 3. Kim Dami has more.
Samsung Electronics' a fresh new set of Galaxies has been unpacked. After throwing large-scale unpacked events in the past, this edition was live-streamed online for the first time due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But connecting with some 300 fans and 1 million viewers worldwide, the Unpacked show was as glamorous and lively as ever. Samsung is confident its latest devices will lead the next normal era of non-contact technology.
Together, they are part of the growing Samsung ecosystem. At the end of the day, we are about empowering you so that in these difficult times, you can focus on what really matters.
As enjoyed by pro gamer Myth, Samsung's Galaxy Note 20 allows users to play video games connected to their phones. Its pen now reacts 80% faster than its predecessor. The Galaxy Note 20 is available in 2 models, one regular flat display model and the Ultra model with a 6.9-inch display. Launching on August 21st, they'll go on sale for $1,000 and $1,200 respectively. The tech giant's second edition of Z Fold is back, this time larger and wider. Calling the foldable phone innovative, K-pop group BTS also unboxed and played around with what's been labeled as the most advanced flexible display ever. Made out of recycled materials, Samsung's Galaxy Buds Live have 3 microphones each side with an additional voice pickup unit, minimizing background noise when users answer calls. With these latest devices, Samsung aims to wrestle back the #1 spot in the global smartphone market that it lost to China's Huawei in the second quarter. In fact, because of the global crisis, only around 60 to 80% of Samsung's Galaxy S20 series were sold last quarter compared to a year ago. On top of the latest Galaxy gadgets, the South Korean tech giant plans to boost its profitability by introducing more affordable products. It'll set up Galaxy studios across Seoul for customers to take a closer look and expand the Galaxy 2 Go service, where people can rent smartphones before they actually purchase the device. 김다미, 아리랑 뉴스.
The Seoul Metropolitan Government is launching a new project for people emotionally exhausted by the pandemic. The city's cultural project will host up to 2,200 artists performing across 20 outdoor spaces, including Seoul Botanical Garden, Garden 5, and the Duksam Hangang Park. To check them out, you can apply via the Seoul Cultural Portal or the city's website from Thursday. And that does it for this newscast. Thank you for watching.